in this video, I'm going to answer the tough interview question, what makes you a good manager? I'm going to include examples that you can use to answer this question and the top 3 skills that you can use as part of your answer. I'm Amri Celeste, your interview coach. If this channel has helped you to feel more confident in your interview, then do click like and subscribe. Now, what makes you a good manager is a competency-based interview question. So these are questions that explore your competency or your ability to do something. So the interviewer in this case is asking about your proficiency level, specifically related to management. I cover the top competency-based interview questions and answers in this video, which I'll link below this video. Now, your interviewer might also ask, what makes you a good leader? Name 3 important leadership qualities. What makes a successful manager? What makes a good team leader? So look out for any of those variations so that you don't get caught out in your interview. So start off your answer with a brief example of your management style and what your priorities are. So here's an example. I think I have multiple strengths as a manager. I see my role as one that exists to allow my team to do their best work and provide guidance, coaching, and structure where necessary. I know that when a team are supported and happy, it's easiest for them to do their best work. A supported and happy team is one where the manager keeps them motivated and engaged, and where unavoidable conflicts are managed, where the team are regularly trained and upskilled with room to grow into other opportunities. I'll explain how I foster that type of environment. So this is a quick, simple answer that summarizes your view of what a manager's role is before you give more detail. So this answer as it is answers the question, but to really give an exceptional answer, you want to take it further with specifics and examples, which is why I ended the answer with, I'll explain how I do that. In order to get specific, you have to relate your answer to the role that you are going for. So I'll give an example. Let's use this job description that I created as an example. So this is an example job description for a sales manager. Now, it can be any manager. I'm just using this one as an example, but these are the areas that you would pay attention to before your interview if you wanted to nail your answer to this question. Here, under key responsibilities, where it mentions leading and motivating the sales team and providing training and coaching, I'll show you how to demonstrate those areas in your answer when you get to the interview. And I'll also include how to demonstrate that you can manage conflict within a team to match this area under the next section here in skills and experience, where it says you need experience in conflict managing and sales training and development. So I'll show you how to demonstrate that you have those skills as well. And it's a management role, so you'll want to demonstrate team leadership and communication, which will then address this area here where it says strong leadership, communication, and negotiation skills. Also, ability to motivate a sales team, and lastly, the behaviors, which is the very last section. So I'll throw in how to demonstrate problem-solving skills, which are also key for the qualities of a good manager. Team motivation. So in this part of your answer, you're addressing team motivation. So here's the example. I believe it's important to keep my team motivated and engaged. From experience, this is when the team delivers their best work. For example, I find that simple recognitions like shout-outs in team meetings and keeping weekly one-on-one meetings in place with each team member make a big difference to the team's motivation. They are aware that I recognize their work, and they have a space to share any challenges and have an opportunity to feel heard each week. So here's another example. We had a bit of a sales slump last year, and I decided to create a duvet day incentive. So the salesperson who had met their monthly sales target would be able to take the day off work. But it was also in line with the company's recent focus on boosting work-life balance for staff. Once I announced the incentive, I noticed an immediate change in the atmosphere and a boost in energy with this friendly competition. And this is an example of a specific way that I have worked to keep the team motivated in the past. So that first area, addressing motivation, has so many elements that I highly recommend you include in your answer. Of course, make it relevant to the role that you're going for. It's a little bit long so that you can pick and choose which elements and relevant areas you need from the answer. So here, the first section, from I believe to their best work, is a summary of your approach and your beliefs when it comes to team motivation. So when you say you believe that this is when they deliver their best work. In your own answer, it helps to start with a quick summary. So you're covering the question with the first couple of sentences. Then this is the key part here where it says, here's another example. Here you're moving into a specific situation where you introduce an incentive specifically to address team motivation. So these are important interview tips to make sure that you include an example in your answer. Why? Because an example helps the interviewer to envision you demonstrating that skill as opposed to just having to take your word that you're great at team motivation. And also with management roles, this can sometimes be an area where people tend to elaborate a little. So adding an example shows that you really understand the steps and you have carried out the steps and you understand the thinking behind how to manage a team and what makes a good manager or what makes you a good manager in these various but very specific aspects. Now, if this is helping you, do click like and leave a comment. It's immensely helpful for getting this video in front of more people who struggle with this question. Now, you can also buy me a coffee to help support the channel. The link is below in the description below this video. Managing conflict. Now, this answer will show you how to demonstrate that you can manage conflict as a manager. I understand that disagreements and differing opinions are a natural part of working in a team, but they can also cause tension and negatively impact productivity. As a manager, I actively seek to prevent conflicts from escalating and address them promptly when they do occur. For example, I had two team members who had a disagreement about clients. I won't use their real names, I'll call them Tim and Sarah so I can explain the situation. Tim was sure that Sarah had been stealing his clients, and that was the reason his sales performance had dropped and he hadn't been able to close some of his sales deals. Sarah completely denied this and said that she hadn't contacted any of Tim's clients. As the disagreement got quite heated very fast, I took the immediate steps to address it. I spoke with them individually and reviewed sales records to check on phone logs and activity. Then I got both Tim and Sarah together away from the sales floor and other colleagues and mediated a discussion so they could express their feelings and concerns. After listening to both team members and reviewing records, I discovered that Sarah had in fact contacted some of Tim's clients, but had not sold to any of them. She explained that she contacted them in response to general queries. I outlined a clear process for client contact and made it clear that attempts in selling to clients that belong to other colleagues would not be tolerated, and encouraged the two to work collaboratively. Although it took a short time for Tim and Sarah's relationship to be repaired, they slowly began to work collaboratively again within a week. Now, there are two parts to this answer here. From I understand to occur is the first part. That's the overview. Often this is where candidates stop with a quick summary. It's one of the common interview mistakes. The second section starts where it says, for example, same as in the last answer. So this is what you want to include in your interview. So one other thing that you may have already spotted is the fact that names were omitted here where it says, I won't use their real names. This demonstrates integrity. You're showing that you're still protective of your team, even though you're interviewing for another role. So next we're going to look at 3 skills in one answer by covering your top 3 skills as a manager. So I've related these to a sales manager role because that's the example that I'm already using for this video, but use what's relevant to you and the behaviors required in the role that you are going for. That would link to strong leadership traits. Now, the question, what makes you a good manager or what makes a good manager, isn't asking about your key skills, but this answer still answers the question because you're saying these are the key skills that I think make a good manager. So your top 3 skills. Overall, I would say my top 3 skills as a manager include strong decision-making, open and clear communication with my team, and flexibility in my management style. I think strong decision-making is important in any role where someone is leading a team. Most teams tend to work when they have a clear goal, clear direction, and they can look to their manager to guide them through any changes or sudden situations where decisive action is needed. Clear communication is also key, whether I'm explaining the benefits of a new incentive or resolving a conflict. For me, clear communication involves active listening, so I know that what I'm communicating is important to my team and relevant and demonstrates that I've taken their opinions into consideration. Lastly, I feel that flexibility is likely my strongest skill, so whether I have a team of 2 or 20, there are always differing personalities, preferences and opinions. Even with my own personal likes and dislikes, I recognize that if I'm not willing to adopt various styles of management for different team members, I will likely struggle to communicate with my team, to motivate them, and ultimately I may not be able to keep them on the team for very long. For example, a more experienced hire generally will not need as much management as an entry-level team member. Junior team members generally require more training, support, and one-on-one guidance, whereas the same level of involvement might be quite demotivating to an experienced team member. Now, if you struggle with difficult interview questions and answers, you can grab this free guide covering the top 20 tough interview questions and answers so that you can fly through your interview. It's totally free and it's in the description below this video. Training. So here we'll cover training your team. I believe a good manager will keep their team trained and support them in acquiring new skills so they can advance in their role and the company. For example, based on the results of monitoring sales calls, which is part of my role, I decided to train my team on consultative selling. So this is a sales technique that focuses on understanding the customer's needs and then selling based on those needs using active listening and tailored solutions. I had to take into consideration the existing skills on the team's time constraints, and the different learning styles of team members. So some may be visual learners, while some may be kinesthetic and learn by doing. In the end, I created a short training session for a couple of hours that included slides for visual learners and role-playing for those who learn by doing. After the training, I noticed the immediate difference in how they interacted with clients. So let me know what difficult interview questions and answers you're struggling with, if any, or what you're interviewing for in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.